Today's watch you strapping is a Swatch. Again, it's pronounced Piu Nero, which I believe in Italian means more black. It's a relatively new model, I believe, this year, 2019. It's definitely larger than my classic Swatch of the 80s and even 90s, which measured 34. This is 41. I just like the way this dial is. You know, it's got this 3D effect. The numbers are printed out there, and the way this the time is represented. It's like this floating triangle, or sort of, that goes around the outer edge pointing out, and all the other, the hour and minutes are pointing in, and it's a pretty neat effect. But I just got this the other day. Fortunately, I don't think I'm going to keep it. This would have been just a simple watch you strap in episode, just to show you. I can't really change, well I could, but you know, straps, Swatch don't really have much strap changing ability, other than to get their own proprietary straps, or unless you custom modify something to fit these lugs the way they're done. But I'll say that I'm probably going to return this because I thought I could wear 41, and I usually can. I can even wear 45, even 47 watches, like from Seiko, like they're divers. But basically, they really beefed up what the stock Swatch watch is. I have one, but I didn't bring that with me to do this, to compare. But it's definitely thicker and, of course, wider and larger. And it's just the way. This is something that I was thinking I had to get used to, is the way this sits, you know. It does conform to the wrist, and it's comfortable, but it's just the way it kind of comes out, and then it goes in, or straight down, or somewhat in slightly, and then comes back out. So it looks very, surprisingly very flat, this watch overall. You know, it does curve down steeply here. Overall, it's very straight. And what you have here, if I can focus, is yeah, this effect, it makes it feel like it's overhanging, even though it actually isn't. This is only about 47 millimeters across, lug to lug, and it's well within my wrist edge, I guess, width. But it's just the way it's very straight, and then it curves down, and then I think it's the fact that, see how this, you can kind of give this effect where it kind of looks like it's going in and then back out. And especially you can see it from this profile here. It's not really a look that I like. That's why the classic 34 millimeter ones, they seem small, but that's actually a pretty good size. It's just, I mean, as I looked at it, they basically have the shape that's not as thick, and at least it's shorter in. So if it does have something like this going on, and it kind of does, it's not as noticeable because there's so much more in, and the strap, because of that, they tend to be able to go out more, so it flows off this way better, instead of, you know, here where it has to go down and then out. Yeah, this would probably be better for someone with a larger wrist than my just under 7-inch wrist. Probably 7 1/4, 7 1/2 at least, to make it work. And the other thing too is this, you can totally hear this, the ticking. It is so much louder than my old Swatches. Yeah, I put it next to each other, or ear to ear, and kind of go back and forth, and this is at least double, maybe 3 times louder than the other Swatch, and from, you know, the vintage ones that I have. And I don't know, it gets kind of annoying. It's a lot louder than I thought it would be. You know, around regular ambient noises, it kind of drowns out. But I mean, I can have this out by my side, on my arm, like hanging by my pant, you know, pant pocket or whatever. You can hear that ticking if it's quiet enough. And I don't get that with my other ones. So that was a bit of a surprise. I didn't realize how much louder these are. I mean, I had 3, 4, many more swatches before, but that was the last one I bought was about 15 years ago. And I wanted to get a new one because it's been about time, and this looked pretty cool. But these weird dimensions, the way it hangs, it takes some getting used to. It's not the best flow. The other thing is this loud ticking, louder than I'm used to. And actually, having looked at it under the sun, I don't know if you can see it. You probably can't, but there is. You might be able to make it right there. And there's some spots down here. There's actually, if I can get up close into here. Yeah, you see, right in there. I'll try to wipe this away. Well, you can see it right by that one. See right there? That's definitely on the dial. And some spot right there, right by the, right in this corner, right by the tip of my pinky. You see a little speck. And there's some that's more right underneath the glass. You can sort of see it. I'm brushing, trying to brush. There's some stuff right there. Yeah, so there is dust particles underneath here, which that put the nail in the coffin for me. I got it yesterday, wore it, and I woke up and said, you know what, this shape feels weird, and it's really loud ticking. And I put it on this morning. I tried to give it another go, and I went out to take pictures and just before doing this video, and I noticed, wait a minute, there's dust underneath here. I said, screw that. I do not want to have dust underneath the crystal, and these things you can't open up. So this one's going back, defective. Anyways, this is my What You Strappin episode / I guess mini review and rant on this Swatch Piu Nero. It's spelled P-I-U-N-E-R-O. The model number is SUOB157, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it's really cool, this dial and this overall, but when you start to go this way, these things, the way the lugs, at least on my wrist, they don't really work for me. It looks a little jutty, you know, it doesn't flow. I don't know. It almost feels like maybe an Apple Watch or something, which I won't wear. And the dust particles that underneath there, which you can't do shit about. You see it in bright daylight, and this looks good taking pictures in bright daylight, and unfortunately it's going to look like crap because it's got dust particles underneath. At least I can mark that as a defect when I return it. And the really unusually loud ticking. Did not know they got this loud. I don't even know, I mean, they can expand the size of this to 41, but I don't understand why they had to make it thicker. It's still a quartz movement underneath there, and it didn't gain any water resistance, still like 30 meters or something like that. So, I don't know. Unfortunately, this would have been a cool kind of wild card, something fun to wear, but I just, for 75 bucks, and the fact that it has dust underneath the crystal, yeah, that's not gonna fly with me. It shouldn't. You can even see it right there, right underneath the swatch, right on the dial right there. That one can come off, but just me, with my bare eyes, I can see more that's going on, especially directly underneath the. Yeah, there's some right by the 2 and 3. Anyways, that's it. Cool watch, other than the fact that there's some QC issues, and I don't know, the flow and the sound of it just doesn't work. Thanks for watching. Laters. Wanted to do this to add this to the end of the video. Size comparison of, here is my 34 millimeter, and this is the new 41. You can see quite a big difference, and if you look at the thinness, sorry, this profile versus that, let's just pop this up here real quick so you can kind of gauge. keep in mind that this one in my hand does have a bottom that's in black, so if you're just looking at the silver, that might not give a true representation. I'd have to measure it, but it's definitely, I'll just put it down next to each other. You know, to be honest, sorry for the shakiness, I don't have a tripod and this is by hand. The thickness actually, it's not all that different really. Let me see if I can see the side here. Yeah, probably the crystal does dome up a bit more on the new one, but overall it's not that much thicker. It's mostly the case size compared to this one. I mean, proportionately, let's see, looking at the space between the crystal, sorry, come on, focus. Looking at the space between the crystal and like where this drops off, and you look at that, it's pretty proportional. It says this is bigger and just a little bit thicker, I guess. But yeah, this just wears a lot better though, and let me show you in a moment. Okay. Let's see. And focus. Focus. Okay. You can see it just doesn't jet off the wrist as much. You see how it flows off the side of the wrist? It doesn't have that tall kind of bulbousness to the ends of the lugs. And yeah, I mean, you look at this side, on the right side, it does drop off down a little bit and it kind of comes back out, but because of the scale of the watch and on my wrist, it doesn't do it as dramatically. Let me just make a little adjustment here. Sorry. Here. So I mean, normally you could sit something like this. This is what I was looking for. Something that kind of was more angled outwards from the lugs to the wristband versus the way it was on the other one, where it just kind of flowed down and a little bit inward and then back out where the band is. You don't get that with this. And so yeah, no matter how I try to wear that one, it just flows into that kind of form, and it looks very top heavy, you know, because of the ends of the lugs just kind of jut out a bit. It's rounded, but it does jut out, and it's very smooth jutting because it kind of just flows into the way the silicone bracelet is, the strap is, but it just doesn't do it like the classic size 34. So anyone that's thinking about something like this, I'll get that dust out of there, 41, and you have a 7-inch or smaller wrist, you may want to reconsider that you don't like the way that looks. You know, not just this specific model, but any of these newer ones that are at least 41 millimeters by, I don't even remember what this height is. I think they said it's 9 or 10. It's not actually all that tall, but it's just the way it's squatty, I guess, and so short and rounded here is just, I don't know. You could see how it was in my video, so I don't know. That's not for me. And again, it's a surprisingly, you probably can't. Can you even hear the ticking? I know it's kind of noisy where I'm at right now, but compared to this. Hear that. Let's compare it to this one again. I don't know. Just trust me, this sucker is loud. And there's the dust issue underneath the some dust out of there. This has to go back, unfortunately. It's a very cool looking dial. And I like the colors. It's kind of bright yellow with the white and black. It's very stark but clean. And this would have been maybe the only, maybe my chronograph, but pretty much most of my swatches don't have any indices. It's just very, stylish, and it's just all about the look of the colors and either transparencies and stuff and layering versus any real practical functionality other than telling the general time. That would have been cool to have one that looks, I guess, almost a little bit more technical looking, but yeah. Okay, this one got a little long because it's actually a quick review. I didn't have to have this long. I mean, it's a quartz watch, plastic swatch. You know what to expect if you have one of these. It's mainly, I think it was important to note the size and the way the strap flows off of the lugs, and the way it kind of, for me, it looks like it kind of was a bit bulbous, and it just didn't look right. And of course, you may have issues with QC, such as dust underneath the crystal and on the dial, which is unfortunate. And this doesn't line perfectly as well, the second hand, which I would have preferred too. I mean, I could have lived with it. It wasn't that bad, but sometimes I swear it seems like it does seem more aligned at other times. I think there's a little bit of slack or play in that second hand, like it's not perfectly set. If you tilt the watch a certain way, it may actually kind of go up or down a little bit along that pivot point in the center. It's not really, super firm and stable. Some watches have that kind of loosey-goosiness about it. Tip it this way, it might lean towards one side more. Tip it this way, it might start leaning back. Anyways, that's it. Just gotta stick with my original until I find a suitable replacement, or an update rather. But too bad, these just probably won't work for me. We'll see. Maybe another 15 years. Thanks. Bye.